What's up, backyard people? I've got a little bit different orchard video for you today. We're reporting from the floor of the orchard, from the root zone and the ground cover zone. We experimented quite a bit in the orchard this year, and so I've promised this video for a while. Maybe a little bit more herky-jerky here and a little bit less linear. But I want to talk about things like this sweet potato vine, or like this oregano behind me, or the comfrey, and some of the things that we've done this year that we've been talking about doing for years, but also that we allowed to happen this year. So the orchard looks completely chaotic this year. It is a lot less chaotic than it looks, but it looks like chaos. There are more weeds this year. There's a little bit more grass this year. There's also a lot more intentional additions made to the floor of the orchard. So we have sweet potato, cowpeas or black-eyed peas, black beans, pinto beans. We have thousands of zinnias in the orchard. I'll explain why in a minute as we walk through. We have allowed some things to pop up and stay up that we wouldn't normally. And so I'll hop up and walk you through and explain why we're doing some of that. But I would say, as a general rule, most of these experiments are proving to be worth it. And so I'm having to decide from a design perspective going forward, do I want to allow for that? Where am I willing to give up some cleanliness and some order for some production, for some health? And again, I'm just an amateur orchard, garden, backyard dude. I'm a real estate expert. If you want to buy and sell properties like this, we're happy to help you. We'd love to earn your trust, help you buy, sell, or create your dream big backyard where you can grow some food and have fun and host and play and privacy and all those things. But this isn't what I do for a living. I help you buy and sell homes for a living, but you know, we get better at this and we're constantly learning. So if you have tips or objections, let me know in the comments as we make our way through this video. I'm still experimenting and figuring some of this stuff out. I'd love to share what I'm learning with you, but I'd also love to learn from you or laugh at your ridiculous comments. We'll see you down there. All right, so we've put a lot of different herbs and spices beneath the fruit trees this year, and my hope is that those will be there forever. They are keeping the root zone together. They're benefiting from the irrigation we have around our fruit trees, and also they do provide some additional herbs for us to use. We have herbs in the garden that we do most of it. The other reason is pest control. So a lot of the things that want our fruit don't want these things. As you can see, this one's mostly dead, but it isn't dead. If this thing can make it through August, it's late July right now, then we'll be fine. This is the first year. So once this thing gets into fall, it's gonna explode. You can see we've got some, a couple of good stalks here, but if we can get it through, then we'll be in really good shape. And under almost every fruit tree, we've either got oregano, rosemary, comfrey, which I'll show you some of that in a minute. We have some lemon balm and lemongrass and a couple other things like that, thyme, lemon thyme, that are there to benefit and add and take away in all those different ways. So I think this is going to be something we stick with long term, but as you can see, year one, we're just trying to get stuff established. So I'll go show you a couple more. All right, so if you can see really, really closely, you can see a couple of little blooming flowers here. These are peas, or actually these are beans, and you can see the little holes. We did black beans, pinto beans, and cowpeas or black-eyed peas this year. And we did them in probably 30 different spots for a couple of reasons. Number one, they serve as a pseudo ground cover. They shade the ground. They retain more moisture in the soil. And also we're getting more food production from the same exact space. So when you think about things like survival food or just layering to get more food out of the irrigation, out of the soil, out of the mulch, it will also actually add soil nutrition back to the soil. As these die back and as they pull up nutrients from the subsoil, these will actually benefit all the plants and trees around them. So this is also an experiment. I've never done this before, but with very, very minimal effort. We're at the very early stages of getting some peas, some beans, and some sweet potatoes, as well as some other edible herbs and shrubs and medicinal plants that we may never use, but we'll have them if we want. So again, another part of the experiment that I think is going well. Looks a little wild and crazy, really looks like a weed for the most part. I think we'll get into here in the fall more production, but I'd put a check next to this one and say I'm probably gonna do this again, maybe in different areas, but the peas and the beans so far are looking good. Obviously, we put some flowers in the orchard this year. So as I take a knee here, here's why. Number one, we want pollinators in the orchard, right? We want bees, we want bugs. We do want the healthy, bees and bugs and flying things to pollinate all of our fruit. That's how we get fruit. We also do like the beauty. My daughters love these zinnias. Their friends love to come and cut bouquets. And we have dozens and dozens, almost 40 different varieties of zinnias. We save the seeds every year. So we're looking for ways to use them. We're looking for places to put more beauty. But functionally, these are also providing a lot of shade for the soil. Depending on the time of day, these are casting a ton of shade all over the orchard this year. You'll see the areas where we don't have these, you'll see us fighting with more grass and more weeds and more hot exposed soil. I can tell you just kneeling down, the soil's at least 5 or 10 degrees cooler when I'm in here down low by these flowers versus when I'm out in the open areas that I'll show you in a minute. So we got pollinators, we got shade, we're retaining water in the soil, and then as these die back in the winter, my plan is to cut them and drop them. So then through the winter, they will also cover the soil. They will break down and we'll get the nutrient density, the biodiversity of having different plants and things breaking down and basically composting in place. Now we'll experiment with that. We'll probably do an update video in the wintertime for you where maybe we'll grind these up and break them down. But these stalks are fairly thick, so it's gonna give us a lot of biomass, just a lot of plant material to work with, whether that be composting, mulching, or maybe we'll end up burning it and throwing it away. But that's what's happening. Let me show you how pretty this one is real quick. Come in close here if you can. Why wouldn't you just want to have some really unique faded, by faded I mean you got different colors coming in here. You got some really bright ones, and then as we make our way around, we'll show you some very, very different colors. Purples, reds, oranges. We've got some striped zinnias. So nothing wrong with a little beauty in the orchard as well. Let's go see a couple more. So I've showed you some sweet potato already, and I might show you our intentional sweet potato again here before this video is over. This is actually kind of an invasive vine around here. This is not producing sweet potatoes, but it is a variety of a sweet potato that looks kind of cool. Why would I let this grow in the orchard if it's actually not producing any fruit, any vegetables or anything? The reason is a lot of what I've been saying. Shading the soil, keeping the soil temperatures cooler, retaining more water, bringing in pollinators, also stuff that will later become natural living or recently living mulch for our plants. So I have let this one grow and sprawl out knowing that it's really not providing anything to me other than some functional help in the garden. But if I let it go too far, this one could be a real problem. So this may be one of the only things that I may come in here before fall and cut back at the source and then just let it sit and die back where it is, because it is a living mulch for us right now. So also an experiment. That one's still to be determined whether I would do that again. But I want to show you something right over here. We've talked about comfrey in several of our videos, but I've never really fully explained it. So comfrey is what some people will call a dynamic accumulator. It is known and planted very deliberately because it has a very, very, very deep taproot. So the main root underneath this plant will be about that thick at the top. It's almost like a carrot. Smaller and smaller and smaller as it makes its way down, but it will go 12 feet or longer below the soil surface, and it's bringing nutrients up. And then as you cut it back or kill it at the top, the root wants to stay proportionate to the plant. So right now at this height, that taproot may be 2 or 3 feet. The plant's about 1 foot, maybe not even. So as it grows, that will continue to happen. But as you cut it back, you're releasing those nutrients in the soil. As you're taking it off the top, those will break down, and they have a very, very high nitrogen content as well as some of our other kind of NPK, desirable natural fertilizer. So you can do what people call chop and drop. You can chop it or cut it or just pull it and then drop it right on the soil, and it's a natural fertilizer, but it's very nutrient dense. And the more you let these things grow, the more they feed your soil and the more they support. It's a support plant for your fruit trees. So you're gonna get more plums, more pears, more apples, more peaches, more jujubes, all that kind of stuff, because you're planting friendly companions next to them to help feed them. So that's what we're doing with comfrey, and we're doing with that right now in about a dozen places. I don't see the results yet, but I know factually, this has been researched by much smarter people than me. This is something we will do more of next year. I just want to show you guys here in the back another one of our peas. And you can see this is probably our most productive one. This one happens to be in almost full early sun. It's mid-morning right now, full early sun. It'll have brutal midday heat, but this one's gonna get afternoon shade from about, 1 or 2 o'clock on. And I think that's why this one's probably our most successful bean or pea plant thus far. So Courtney, camera girl Courtney is already wanting to harvest some of these, so we'll get you an update video soon. But something I wanted to point out even more than that, sadly, is maybe the biggest failure of the season on the orchard floor. I was really excited about remember I told you everything's in rows, so rows of 3, originally 7, now 9, right? So this is spot 23, I think. I can tell you later. But we've lost 2 trees here. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I think it's just planted too low, and in our clay soil beneath still hasn't developed enough in this spot to support major tree root growth. So I'm gonna build this up next time. But I tried 1, 2 fall gold raspberries that I was very excited about, and then 1, 2, I want to say 3, 4, 5 blackberries. And I don't think anything's gonna make it. I got a blackberry just trying. But this is an absolute failure. And the whole orchard has been mulched. We're babying this soil. We did a giant mulch ring around it again. I don't know what I'm doing wrong here, but this is where the orchard and the garden and the backyard remind me ultimately I am not in control. That's why I trust Jesus. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Be happy to talk to you about that. But stuff just goes wrong every year, but that doesn't make you not come back. That's what keeps me coming back, to love figuring this out, to grow fruit and food and just have fun out here. So kind of keeps me sane, keeps me coming back, keeps me challenged, and keeps it fun for family, friends, and visitors. So I want to show you one more thing that we've experimented with this summer that's going really well that I mentioned earlier. Talk to you a little bit about that, and we can check out some other videos on the channel. Okay, sweet potatoes. So I've mentioned these in a couple of videos. We did a video on growing some of your own food, being prepared for a crisis. This one's pretty easy. Once you get it started, sweet potatoes love the heat. So my experiment this year is I put these in 3 or 4 places. It's doing well in 1 other spot. So I'd say 1 or 2 successes, 2 or 3 failures. This is something I would love to do in lots and lots and lots of places in the fall for the summer. I prep the soil here. I don't do a lot of disturbing the soil. I don't dig down really any more than I have to, because I want that soil biology to do really well. But this experiment, I loosen the soil a bit so those sweet potatoes, those tubers, will grow subsurface. And based on what I've checked so far, I think we're doing really well here. We will give you an update when it's time to harvest and see how well we did. But again, you've got ground cover, you've got soil cooling, water retention, and food production here. And this thing's already grown probably 12 to 15 feet from where we started, and it's heading out in every direction. And I think we will get a late summer pop here as well. So this is something that I would really like to do more of. You could walk on it if you need to. It's helping in a lot of ways, and it's producing food. I happen to like sweet potato French fries a lot. And then my wife makes incredible sweet potato, whatever you call that, casserole. What do you have at Thanksgiving? Anyway, it tastes better than casserole sounds. But anyway, this one's a big win, and I plan to do a lot more of this. So, hey, I'm always experimenting in the garden, in the orchard, in the backyard, but that's an update on why the orchard looks so chaotic this year. Mostly things I think I will do again and again and again, but I do think I will reconsider where I do some of these things next year. I do like a tidier, more organized look, and I do want the ability to get in and handle some issues that this year I had to leave alone because I didn't want to harm some of the good stuff. So I've got one more bonus one real quick. I never put tomatoes in the orchard, and because I lost a peach tree over here and wasn't ready to replace it quite yet this year, I put a couple of different tomato plants in. And so we have these little pear tomatoes, and I don't eat fresh cherry tomatoes or pear tomatoes. I cook with them a lot. I made spaghetti sauce with it last night. But our guests are telling me that these are awesome, and we'll have camera Courtney confirm right now. But that was just another bonus experiment. I would absolutely do this again if I have an open irrigation spot, because instead of that just being a net nothing this year, at least we're getting some food production out of it. And I think in the fall, this plant will probably 4 or 5x its size and its production. We do the best for tomatoes actually in the fall from September to December, depending on our weather. So hopefully you learned something from this. Let me know in the comments what you would do differently, what you think we should experiment with next season, or what we're doing wrong that we could do better. Also, just let me know what you're excited about in your orchard or your garden. You could do this on almost any scale. You could certainly go smaller, and I know some of you are going much bigger. I'd love to hear from you down in the comments. If we can help you buy or sell a property where these things happen, that's what we do all day, every day, is we help people buy and sell big backyard properties and the most desirable DFW neighborhood properties. If we can help, let us know. My contact information is below. Reach out in whatever way is comfortable for you. I'll talk to you on the next one.